Good afternoon and happy 4th of July. Early, one day early. And welcome to Kaiju July. Today we have for you an action theater. We have Godzilla -1 minus color. This is from 2024. Directed by Tashu Tashu Yakamada. Yakamada. And a lot of other names I can't pronounce for the cast. If you haven't seen Godzilla -1, well, you're in for a treat. This is a outstanding kaiju movie and outstanding Godzilla movie. Really is the YouTube Ronin. You know him as deleted scenes. Hello, how you doing, deleted scenes?
Fair to partly cloudy. How about yourself, Bill?
Um, it's sunny here in Goodyear. I'm over in Goodyear. See, I'm in another place. Anyway, I'm over at my parents'.
Right on.
Anyway, we're gonna play this Godzilla -1. Is there anything you'd like to say about it? Hey, there's Curtis Shelby.
Yes, Curtis Shelby is with us. We also have the Bird Woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary.
Mm-hmm.
We also have FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim, who's off of work today, so you can join us. Also, thank you for the $1 super chat. All right, yes. So today's movie is Godzilla -1 minus color. And even though I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with the original theatrical version, I kind of like this in black and white. So let me run over a few things before we start off the film. Of course, Godzilla -1 from 2023, released in certain areas in 2024. Listed as an action adventure drama, is rated PG-13. 2 hours and 4 minutes. A kamikaze pilot plagued by survivor's guilt seeks redemption when a giant monster he failed to kill is transformed by radiation from an atomic bomb and lays siege to post-war Japan. Written, directed by Takahashi Yamazaki, who also won the Oscar for the visual effects for this film. So this was in a lot of ways a one-man show. So and of the Godzilla films, if it's not, in my opinion, if it's not the best one, it certainly is the best one since the original 1954.
Yes.
So, this is
absolutely.
I enjoy the hell out of this film. I was back and forth between this and Oppenheimer for number one. It's kind of one of those. It's one of those deals where I watched the one, and I'll decide that was the best one that year, and then I'll watch the other, and then I'll decide that was the best one. And so. I'm going to be walking around for a few days going, yeah, this is the best movie of that year. But okay, so of course, I do want to remind everybody that we air this movie live. You will have to, if you are watching live, you can follow along on Cosme. The Cosme link should be at the top pinned to the top of both chats. There are YouTube guidelines in America that keep us from showing this film. If we were in certain areas in Europe, or if we were in India or something like that, it would be no problem. But but unfortunately, we can't. So think of this as like a fan commentary.
Yeah.
Of the film. That's basically what we're doing. So enough of my yakking. Let's follow us over onto Cosme, and let's sit back, relax, and watch this fucking great kaiju movie, man.
Yeah.
And of course, after the movie will be the trivia segment from IMDb Pro. I have a page there. Check it out. So, oh, right. Of course, we are on YouTube. We are simulcasting on both Bill's channel and mine. So please hit the like, share out the stream. If you're new to our channel, subscribe. We do this show every week. This is Kaiju Lie. We have a number of other films planned that we're going to talk about at the end of the show. And all right. So without further ado, -1.
All right, here we go.
So -1 minus color. Yeah. All right. Hello to Andrea Black. Toho logo. I love this. Every time I see like the Toho logo on a modern movie, oh man, it just sends me back. Oh, and I love this too. This is the original logo. From the 50s. I'd forgot they put it in there. And of course, that year was the 70th anniversary of Godzilla. And let us know if there's any sound issues. I'm not hearing sound at the moment. No.
Might have to refresh. You hear sound yet?
"1945 Odo Island Airfield, final days of World War II." The sound problem is on my end, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this island, and we meet basically our two main characters here. Sakashima is our lead guy. Tachibana. And Sakashima is a kamikaze pilot. As we see here, quite a skilled pilot, and he's supposed to be a kamikaze, but he has brought his plane in to get looked at. Hello, JPR PH1.
Hello, JPR PH1.
Daniel's hot top. Pronouncing the Japanese good, by the way. Yeah, I know a little bit about a little bit. My father was at one point stationed in Okinawa when he was in the Air Force, so he knew a little bit about. He knew a lot about like Japanese culture and He knew some of the language. I picked up a little bit here and okay. I think I got my sound up and running now. Let me know how I'm sounding, please, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you sounding good. 5 by 5.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's much smaller at this point. This is
yeah.
before he's been dosed. Yeah, this movie wastes no time getting you to Godzilla. he's he's basically the size of a T-Rex here.
Yeah.
There are parts of this movie that really put me in mind of Letters from Iwo Jima in the way some of it is shot.
he yes, Tim. Run away, run away.
Run away. Yeah. Because remember, those who had heard of Godzilla previous to this is just like a legend, a campfire tale. Now they're seeing real.
I love the good redesign of Godzilla's facial.
He's literally trying not to hurl.
I'd be like, I need a new pair of shorts.
Pants totally filled. Oh, that'll work. Oh, oh,
It,
it'll.
a small arms fire is only pissing Godzilla off.
Oh, and of course, this is how he gets the leg injury.
He doesn't just need him. Godzilla throws him and hurls him.
I don't think that's fixable.
Maybe like, am I dead? Am I dead? Am I dead? Why am I? I'm not dead. Why am I not dead? Yep. I'm not dead yet. I'm mostly dead.
Of course, this is the neighbor has quite an arc throughout the film. And hello to Susan Eckstein. Good to see
Hello, Susan.
you. We now joined Godzilla already in progress. Yeah. For those of you who are not familiar with the movie that Tim is talking about in the chat, Dedeska Den, is about a guy who thinks he's a train, among other things that are going on in the plot.
You too, Susan. You have a good day and a good holiday. Be safe, everybody. Bring your four-legged friends inside on the fourth. They don't like fireworks. Nope. I think we lost leader for a moment. I'm sure he'll be back. Yes, Daniel. It would have been but a scratch to Godzilla. We might need a bigger boat. Oh, we're gonna need a much bigger boat and much bigger guns. You're wasting ammunition. Oh, ground tremors. That could only mean one thing. So that would be alarm. You wake up to Godzilla. Wake up, or I'm gonna stomp on you. A little calming before the storm here. Things are starting to go good, but they're fooling themselves. So even the U.S. government involved sinking of ships 1947 after the war's over. What you know? Oh, uh, he's back. Hey, Big
I was
Al.
not. Yeah, so the Big Al presents.
This is this is Godzilla -1 minus color.
Minus color. Yeah.
Give it the old feel look to it.
And hello, Chi-Rock. Could I get a quick timestamp, Bill?
Yep. We're 36:35.
All right. We know what that means.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. Get ready for the big one. Yeah, it's mighty big. Full throttle. Get running. Get going. God, this is a great sequence. No, you pissed it off. You pissed him off.
He is pissed.
uh, oh, now he's pissed. Now he's pissed. He's saying my battleship. Yep, game over, man. Game over.
He got popped on the noggin. All right. I am having an issue with my power cord. I might have to go offline here, guys, from time to time. Working on it. Let's see what happens.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Timestamp 48 minutes, 25 seconds. And this is when he's finally going to tell Noriko what happened on Odo Island. Of course, with these scenes, you're really getting what the movie is actually really about, which is, these men who are ordered to die, basically, this entire generation who was meant to be sacrificed. But, they didn't all die. And these guys survived, and now they're being made to feel like they were, cowards or less than in some fashion for surviving. It's basically Grave of the Fireflies with Godzilla in it.
Yeah.
It's got this very strong anti-war message in it that I think works just as well, if not maybe even a little bit better than all the Godzilla stuff.
The air raid sirens. That's not good. Something's coming.
Whoops.
It's a white towel sale at Bloomingdale's. Oh,
They throw on cars.
at about 50 meters high.
And of course, they bring back the old theme music here.
Hold on, life. She sees it's over water. It's your best shot. Oh, I think he heard you. Don't talk bad about Godzilla.
I think you can hear you, Ray.
Great score.
Do you believe me now?
Send in the tank.
No. Hmm. There she goes.
Ultimate destruction. Oh yeah, yeah, a bad storm, right? We're at 101.28, 31, 101.31. Is that a paper origami Godzilla? Pretty cool. I gotta stop crying like a baby like that. He stepped on my toe. Suddenly, Gamera shows up. I like Gamera. Gamera's cool. He's a turtle.
He's really nice. Made a turtle meat. So wherein you had Shin Godzilla, which was all about red tape and bureaucracy and meetings to decide where they're going to have meetings and all this. It's basically a piss take on the Fukushima situation. Here it's kind of the opposite. Here you have these men who have, survived the war, who decide, fine, we're going to go in there and we're going to take care of this ourselves. But as the title says, Godzilla -1. It's like, the war, they were set back to zero to begin with. Of this new threat.
Oh, okay. I see, Tim. It's a Lego Godzilla. I thought it was a paper origami. That is impressive. Welcome back.
This guy steals the second half of this movie. I don't care.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, yeah. But well, that makes sense. Maybe. In fact, it may already be happening. Maybe it's already happening right now.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you wonder, how long has he been thinking about this? It's almost like the second Godzilla shows up, he's like, I'm going to sink this bitch.
We're at 112.25.
Yeah, that's kind of the one real problem I have with the movie, right? Is that the reason why the government that's given for the Japanese government and the United States to not step in is because you have this whole kind of post-war Cold War situation growing up, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I think everybody would stop for a giant lizard. This is me. I can be wrong.
Yeah.
I think the big honking lizard might make them think, maybe we'll just kind of, put that shit on pause, one thing at a time. This seems to be the more the more pressing threat. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the part where it's like all of these guys are finally getting to use this knowledge that they've gained, during the war, and handling all of this equipment and whatnot. And so it's like, oh, we'll probably die. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's the point I was making, Tim. Is the Chinese paused their civil war when the Japanese invaded? Why can't the USA and Russia? Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. Yeah, Tree Rock. He is kind of the Einstein of the movie. Yeah. I gotta think the hair's probably a by design thing. I don't think there's anything in this movie that's by accident. Hmm. Heat ray schmeat me. Whichever. That's plane's pretty rad. This might be out of Bruce Lee's jurisdiction there, Chirag. Hi, Kiva.
What you do that for?
Yeah, how'd you know he wasn't going to straight up kill you? We got to close the beaches.
Hey, hey, stop doing that.
Okay. Welcome back, Bill.
StreamYard.
Didn't realize you were gone. Sorry. To go into our main.
We are in our final act. We're at 137.17.
Incoming.
Godzilla likes to throw things.
It's not okay.
Godzilla. Boy, StreamYard's being a pain in the ass today. It's being a really kaiju. Godzilla. He's ignoring me. Pompous. Pompous ass. Telegram. Andygram for Mongo. Andygram for Mongo. Mango like candy.
Good to go. Go now.
The classic Godzilla. Don't let them. Don't let them breathe. Or why do you always sound like they're hawking a big loogie?
Huh? Pilot light went out.
Yeah. Move to Plan B. Godzilla. Godzilla.
You keep hitting me, Mom. Yay. Is it over yet?
He's regenerating. Godzilla. Godzilla. Ah, great film. That's a great Toho Godzilla kaiju film. It never gets old for me. I mean, I've been loving the monster movies. You know, Godzilla's made me love monsters, and it's like I can imagine a world without a Godzilla. Without a Godzilla, without a kaiju. That was Godzilla minus one minus color. Would you like to consult the scrolls?
I would. Okay. All right. Godzilla minus one was released December 1st, 2023. Estimated budget of $15 million. Going on to gross $114 million worldwide. Won the Oscar for visual effects. And was filmed on location in Tokyo, Japan. All right, on to the trivia. Toho announced this film on November 3rd, 2022, and released it a year later, November 3rd, 2023. November 3rd is the anniversary of the original film, with Toho beginning to market it as Godzilla Day. Release of the film also coincided with a new 4K restoration of the original Godzilla films from Toho's Tojin Film Lab. The same month saw Toho shut down the Tojin Film Lab, threatening the destruction of 20,000 pieces of film, TV, anime, commercials, company introduction videos, etc. From the 1970s to 2000s, due to Japanese copyright law, unless the original owners collected the negatives. According to the Tojin website, these works were where the owners could not be contacted were saved at the Toho archive. Very early production on the film began in late 2019, but the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic meant principal photography could not begin until mid-March of 2022, taking place in Kanto. This is the first Godzilla movie to be a period piece set during the American submission of Japan and almost a decade before the original Godzilla. According to a theatrical pamphlet released with the film in Japan, Shin Godzilla had been so successful both critically and financially that Toho was struggling to make a follow-up. Countless proposals were made, but none felt they could live up to the impact Shin Godzilla had with how resonant and acclaimed it had been with Japanese audiences. It wasn't until Yamazaki had the proposal of making a period piece that Toho could finally begin producing a new film. Every Godzilla design gets a nickname from Japanese fans. For this Godzilla, Toho endorsed Negagoji as the official nickname. However, this has given pause to American fans due to the first part sounding familiar to come on, people. N-E-G-A. That's a Nega. That's how it's spelled. Get it? Mm-hmm. We're too PC here. First part sounding similar to a highly offensive word. As such, Americans have taken to alternate nicknames such as minus Goji. Godzilla's appearance in the film is closely based on the design seen in the 2021 CGI short film that accompanied Godzilla the Ride amusement park attraction in the city of Tokorozawa. The short was also directed by Takashi Yamazaki, and much like this film, is also a throwback to the Showa era, with Yamazaki considering the era inseparable from the genre. Yamazaki would reuse that design with a few alterations on the proportions for this film. Takashi Yamazaki previously portrayed Godzilla in a film for a daydream sequence in his previous film, Always Sunset on 3rd Street 2, with the design taken from a garage kit maquette based on the Godzilla design from Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. Like this film, it's also set in a Showa period between 1926 and 1989 instead of the present. Yamazaki cited Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. Damn, that's a long title. Directed by
yeah, that is.
Kaneko as his personal favorite Godzilla movie. Prior to the film's release, Yamazaki showed... sorry, hold on. Got to fix something in the background here. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. jumped on me. All right, before the film is okay, prior to the film's release, director Yamazaki chose select Godzilla films to re-release in Japanese cinemas in the lead up to this film. These were the original Godzilla, the Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and the Giant Monsters All Out Attack, long-ass title movie, and Shin Godzilla. This Godzilla film became the fastest release entry in the U.S. 1 month after its premiere in Japan. The previous record holder was Shin Godzilla, which took under 3 months to release in the U.S. after its initial Japanese premiere. It's also only the third Godzilla film after Mothra vs. Godzilla and Shin Godzilla to be theatrically released in the U.S. the same year as its original Japanese release. Instead of creating a new roar, the crew simply played the original Godzilla roar over loudspeakers and recorded the audio. Gareth Edwards, the director of the 2014 Godzilla, which we're going to be showing later on this month, and take care to JPR PH1. Okay. Attended a screening of the film and described feeling jealousy while watching it, stating, "This is what a Godzilla movie should be like, instead of the one you made that doesn't have Godzilla in it." But we'll get to that when we get to the movie. All right. When Godzilla uses its atomic breath, its dorsal plates shift outwards from its body while lighting up, referencing Godzilla Monsters All Out Attack, yada, yada. As the Godzilla suit used in that film had a mechanism to also shift its dorsal plates up, though in a more subtle manner. I think they meant manner. Lighting from the tail upwards also references the recent Hollywood films. When asked about the differences between the American adaptations and the Japanese originals, Yamazaki stated that while the American Godzilla is only focused on being monstrous, the Japanese interpretation is both as a monster and as a god, commenting that the point of international Godzilla is that he's a really powerful monster, but a Japanese Godzilla is halfway a godlike creature in many ways. Not necessarily a religious god, but more like a Japanese god, a malevolent and destructive one, Yamazaki emphasized. The fact that Godzilla is both a god and a monster is a point that should not be overlooked in the Japanese Godzilla. The Hollywood version of Godzilla leans forward and looks like a monster ready to fight. I don't know if I should say this myself, but I think Godzilla should be made in Japan.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. For Godzilla's suite heard during Godzilla's landfall, composer Naoki Sato used the version of the Godzilla theme as arranged by composer Akira Ufukube in Mothra vs. Godzilla. In the second version of the suite for the finale, the main title from the original film is incorporated with the theme from King Kong vs. Godzilla, an arrangement originally created by Akira Ufukube for his Symphonic Fantasia composition in 1983, which was also reused in the end credits of Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Early production on the film was impacted by the pandemic. The delay gave director Yamazaki nearly 3 years to revise his story and script. In the theatrical pamphlet that accompanied this film's original Japanese release, Yamazaki commented on how this had an impact on the theme of the film, mentioning that similarly to how Godzilla is about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Shin Godzilla is about the Fukushima nuclear disaster, his Godzilla film has a subtle nod to the pandemic. According to director Yamazaki, his Godzilla includes uniquely Japanese aspects, mentioning there is a concept in Japan called Tatragami, spirits that bring calamity. These are good gods. There are good gods and there are bad gods. Godzilla is half monster, but it's also half god. According to Yamazaki, his Godzilla would remain close to the themes of Ishiro Honda's original film, stating, "I love the original Godzilla and I felt I should stay true to that spirit, addressing the issues of war and nuclear weapons." Debuting with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, reviews from Americans were overall positive. Although some criticized and complained about the lack of Godzilla's screen time, when the first negative review was posted, Yamazaki simply treated in response, "Finally, LOL." All right. The name of the protagonist, Tsukushima, coincides with the name of a squadron that conducted the first successful kamikaze attack. The Tsukushima squadron, led by Lieutenant Yukio Seki, hit and sank the USS St. Lo in 1944. The character of Tachibana shares the surname with the main protagonists of Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. The ability of Godzilla's atomic breath to create a nuclear blast is taken from the same film. The lead character's name, Koichi, was a nod to Koichi Kawakita, who was the special effects director at Toho from the late 80s to the 90s. Kawakita got his first job at Toho working on Ishiro Honda's Goroth after the retirement of Teruyoshi Nakano, would be promoted as the head of special effects on versus a bunch of Japanese, I don't know. And yeah, moving on. The look of this Godzilla, though done with CGI, was meant to be reminiscent of the classic suitmation technique, with the posture more upright rather than leaning forward. The design mixes elements from several prior films, with the strongest influence being the 90s versus Heisei era design, which is the generic design Toho has long used for merchandising, and the design from Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Yamazaki's early concept art even gave Godzilla pupilless white eyes, much like the GMK incarnation. Although there had been entries in the MonsterVerse series as well as anime adaptations, lead actress Minami Hamabi, probably got that wrong, sorry, promoted this as the first true new Godzilla film in the 7 years since 2016's Shin Godzilla. Okay. Yamazaki's film takes inspiration from and homages various previous Godzilla films. Aside from the original film, Giant Monsters All Out Attack informed Godzilla's antagonistic portrayal. The protagonists, being ordinary civilians, takes cues from Godzilla Raids Again, including both films having pilots as main characters. And their characterizations are reminiscent of Ishiro Honda's Godzilla films. The main protagonist, Tsukushima, shares his character motivation with the main protagonists of Godzilla vs. Megaguirus and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. The political background dealing with U.S. and Soviet Union tensions is an approach shared by The Return of Godzilla, aka Godzilla 1985, which we're also going to be showing.
Yep.
Godzilla's origins are explored similarly to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and likewise, the film shares the thematic climax of a ragtag group of people coming together to confront Godzilla from Shin Godzilla. All of the Toho Godzilla films have two directors, the general first unit director and a second effects director. Director Yamazaki was not only the general director, but also supervised the visual effects, a distinction shared only with Ishiro Honda, who had to fill in as the effects director for E.G. Shirabaya on All Monsters Attack. Shirabaya, however, is the one who was credited in the film. The -1 refers to the fact that Japan had already been devastated by World War II, hence brought down to 0. But with the emergence of Godzilla, it puts Japan into the negative. This is reflected in the film's original Japanese tagline, which translates to post-war Japan from 0 to minus. The first Godzilla film produced by Toho to get an extended release in U.S. theaters since Godzilla 2000. Most subsequent films were released directly to home media in the U.S., while Shin Godzilla was given a limited release by Funimation during the month of October 2016. Also, the first Godzilla film distributed solely by Toho International, since up until Shin Godzilla, Toho had to rely on U.S. distributors to pick up and release their films. Grossed $11.4 million in North America in its opening weekend, more than any other Japanese live-action film. It's also the second most for any non-English live-action film after Hero, was $17.8 million. Godzilla -1 is the movie of director Takahashi Yamazaki with the most CGI shots, a total of 610. 100 more than in Space Battleship Yamato, his previous record. Internet personality and lifelong Godzilla fan James Rolfe called this the best Godzilla film ever made. The movie was the first non-English language live-action film to hit the top spot domestically in the U.S. since its sourcing, the other one being Hero in 2004. Yeah, we said that already. Moving on. All right. I'll read off a few more of these because there's many.
All right.
All right. During the aftermath of the attack on Ginza, a logo appears on a wall that many have confused for the Umbrella Corporation logo. However, this symbol was actually from the 8th Army Exchange Service Tokyo PX building and can be seen in historical photographs of the building from 1946. The film did not get theatrically released in China, Korea, Taiwan, and many other Southeast Asian countries. While no official statement was made, many viewed that Toho avoided releasing the film in these nations due to their animosity and lingering resentment towards Japan during World War II, exacerbated by the film's setting. After only being available through streaming and digital in these nations, the film ended up garnering mixed reception, particularly from South Korea. In an article on Variety's website dated December 10th, 2023, Godzilla -1 had a box office total of $25.3 million, making it the highest grossing Japanese live-action movie in North American history. It's also believed, though not cited in the article, that having both Godzilla -1 and The Boy and the Heron as the third and first highest grossing films on the weekend of December 9th, is the first time that two Japanese movies reached the top 5 during the same weekend in North American box office history. All of the named warships in the film are among the few UN ships to survive the war in reality. This includes the Takao-class heavy cruiser Takao, a Kiguru-class destroyer Yukikaze, the Akatsuki-class destroyer Hibiki, the Menkaze-class destroyer Yukazi, Matsu-class destroyer Kiyaki, and a Sokuten-class mine layer Katashima. The named destroyers in Mine Layer have their names printed on the side of the hull in capitalized Latin script. However, the usual katakana, which is correct for post-war, rather than the usual katakana, which is correct for post-war surrendered ships. It is the first Japanese Godzilla film to be theatrically released in Brazil since the terror of Mechagodzilla. The film's box office run in North America managed to outgross its box office in Japan. This is a distinction shared with Godzilla vs. Megalon, which only had a limited run in Japan as part of Toho's Champion Festival, a matinee program for children from the 1970s, but was highly successful in the US after an aggressive marketing campaign from its American distributors. This film beat every Hollywood MonsterVerse films at the Japanese box office, outgrossing each of their individual totals. All in all, the modest team of 35 artists completed the film with only 610 VFX shots. For comparison, the Hollywood-made Avengers Endgame used 2,500 VFX shots and had a budget of $365 million. There was also a practical model used for reference in creating the digital version of Godzilla. Over 100 of these VFX shots were water shots, a number that is almost unheard of in Japan, said visual effects director Kyoko Shuibaya. People were saying, "We don't know what you guys are thinking or doing. You must be out of your mind to make that many." Shibaya joked. The scene when Godzilla sinks into the ocean was one of the most difficult to create. And in a nice moment of synchronicity, harkens back to the oxygen destroyer weapon from the original film. There was much speculation on the film's budget, with $15 million being a popularly reported figure until being disproved by the director. The final budget was actually 1.5 billion yen, the same as Toho's prior installment, Shin Godzilla. However, current exchange rates, which lowered the value of the yen, meant this was only around 10 million in US dollars. Both were still cheaper than Godzilla Final Wars, which remains as Toho's most expensive Godzilla film, costing 1.9 billion yen. The second non-English language film nominated for the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects after All Quiet on the Western Front. Godzilla is the first one to win. The first Godzilla film to win or be nominated for an Academy Award, in this case for Best Visual Effects. Godzilla, and Godzilla vs. King Kong were all on the short list for the same award, but didn't make the cut.
Oh.
Included among Letterboxd's top 250 horror films. After releasing, it was rated among Letterboxd official top 250 narrative feature films for 4 weeks. The third highest grossing non-English language film at the domestic box office after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Life is Beautiful. Takashi Yamazaki met Steven Spielberg, who told him that he saw the film 3 times. According to Yamazaki, Spielberg first saw it at home, then went to see it 2 more times in theaters. Yamazaki compared this to being praised by God, since Spielberg was one of his greatest inspirations. Coincidentally, Spielberg himself, also a longtime admirer of the original Godzilla, also citing it among one of his own influences. Yamazaki and his team used the best CG available to make Godzilla look as photoreal as possible. We were able to increase the resolution of the scales, for example, and make them feel really, really sharp to give it this aggressive texture, he said of Godzilla's new look. All right, I'm going to read this off as the last one here. In interviews, Yamazaki mentioned becoming a lifelong Godzilla fan after seeing Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Elaborating on how it felt to finally make a Godzilla film, Yamazaki stated, "For me, as soon as I saw my first kaiju film as a kid, and I realized that there was such a thing as making kaiju films, I knew my life would lead. It's been over 50 years on that path, and I do feel it's been satisfied. I gave a lot. So perhaps I gave more than a little piece of myself. I gave a large part of myself. I have a big hole in my heart, and it's like, oh, it's people who have made Godzilla movies who are left with this feeling. While I don't anticipate any of this, but after the movie is done, when it's out in the world, I feel this little empty place. All right. There's many more. You can check out the trivia on IMDb Pro.
Cool.
The scrolls are closed. And for those of you who may be joining us late and you want to go back and watch from the beginning, or if you come upon this this broadcast, the film is available on physical media, and you can also find both the color and the minus color version, which we watched here today. Both are on Netflix. So if you have access to Netflix, you can watch it in that fashion, and you can watch it with our voiceover. Just like I said at the beginning, just treat shows like this like it's a fan commentary track. That's what I do. So, yeah.
We got more kaiju lined up for you this month. This is just the beginning. we got Godzilla 1985, or as it known, also known, have another name, Return of Godzilla, which will be going on Saturday, Extra Dose, for this coming Saturday. Then the following week, we have, was it Kong Skull Island? I believe that's the next one up in our lineup after Godzilla 1985. We appreciate y'all being here. And, we do hope you have a happy 4th of July. Be safe. Enjoy the barbecue. and if you have four-legged friends, keep them indoors, because the fireworks scares them. They don't like the poppy pop, the fireworks. So keep them indoors. Enjoy your families. I'll just say, with that note, be excellent to one another. Party on. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. Coming Saturday, Extra Dose, Godzilla 1985. Deleted?
Yes. Once again, a happy 4th of July to everyone. I know we had at one point over 50 people watching the broadcast. So thank you all very much for everyone who is watching. You don't have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoy the show. Hit the like, share out the stream, subscribe to our channels, all of that good stuff. I want to thank everyone who joined us here in the chat. Tim, Curtis, Connie, JP, Big Al Presents, Daniel's Hot Topics. I know we had Tune the News, who I didn't see come in. Sorry, good to see you. All right. Also, I know we had Andrea Black in the Cosme chat. Want to thank Connie for the member chat.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Tim for leaving the super chat at the beginning of the show. As Bill said, for Extra Dose will be the return of Godzilla, a.k.a. Godzilla 1985, with Raymond Burr returning. Join us right here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for Pacific Rim. And then the Extra Dose next Saturday, the 12th, Godzilla 1998.
Yeah.
All right.
Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin.
Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin. Yep.
Mm.
All right. So in the meantime, I would like to remind everyone of my my program, Coming Attractions, scheduled for 11:30 p.m. Eastern this evening. Hopefully, my computer will not crap out on me between now and then.
Hopefully.
I'm having a bit of a power cord issue. I might have to get that part replaced. I don't know. But you get to find out what's coming up for my channel and where I'm going to be, including tomorrow night. I am going to be joining Big Al Presents for a special 4th of July edition of Films with Friends. We're going to be joined by Troy Pacelli, Netter's Network, and Sir Torrin Clegane. And we are going to watch 1776 at a special time of 7 p.m.
Okay.
So join us there. And as I always say at the end of every show, thank you all very much once again for joining us. And we will see you Saturday at 3:30. And right back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, back at our regular time, Thursday at 4:30. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy. Try not to upset any prehistoric monsters or do anything that will grow them from tiny to very big. Because this is how we win.